Have you ever had to kill a scorpion before? It's really fun, right? Pro tip, if you're a thrill seeker, you should try it wearing flip-flops. That added adrenaline rush when the tail comes up and tries to skewer you. I'm from Maine. We don't have anything there more dangerous than a garter snake. Well, I guess all that snow has to be good for something, right? So there I am, first week of Peace Corps service, middle of the mountains, middle of nowhere, Nicaragua, with a scorpion on my floor. I went to talk to my host dad. There's a thing on my floor? Rosetta Stone had not prepared me for this. I was interrupting his telenovela time. A what? It's got these. And this? He was confused. A cockroach? Not a cockroach. I might be from Maine, but I know what a cockroach is. This. I might as well have been telling him that the sky was orange and that there were little blue elves flying through my window. Peace Corps would be amazing, everyone had told me. Peace Corps would build character. Right, character. No one had told me that this would be my life for the next 2 years. No one had prepared me that while I thought that I was a pretty good Spanish speaker, learning Spanish in Nicaragua is a lot like learning English in Alabama. Friendly neighbors, missing teeth, and all. After about a week of that backwoods molar crunching dialect, I was about ready to pack it in and take the next flight out. The problem with that is that you need an internet connection, and the nearest hookup was about an hour bus ride away. Which meant not only trusting the van the door routinely fell off of, but also more Spanish in order to figure out how much it cost and whether I was being charged the local price or the rich gringa price. So I decided that it was probably better if I stayed and stuck it out. Thank God my Spanish did get better. The moment I started dropping the S's off the ends of my words, it was like a magic spell. Everyone suddenly understood what I was saying. Pro tip, it's not buenos dias, it's bueno dia. Magic. Of course, it didn't mean that I understood anything that was going on. Clarita, my counterpart told me. I was always little Clara to her, even though she came up to my shoulder. Váyate en la ambulancia con don René. Debe conocer a las comunidades. Sí, doctora, I said, no idea what was going on. But I was learning that yes was usually the right answer, so that seemed to work. So off I went in the ambulance, and to this day I have no idea where we went, because after about the 9th hairpin turn, I put my head down, held onto the bench seats, and prayed for dear life. What we were doing is we were going out to visit a young woman who was due to give birth that week to check up on her. And when we arrived, after about an hour's jolting, white-knuckled ride through the mountains and another 20 minutes walk into the forest, we found her in her little adobe house with her newborn already in her arms. We had missed the birth by about an hour. There was no one else around except her husband, who was anxiously pacing a rut into the dusty front yard. Weren't there any neighbors? Por allá, he said, pointing to the other side of the valley. Pro tip. The longer the ah is at the end of the word, the farther away it is, and the less likely that anyone is going to help you get there. As a Mainer, I feel a deep kinship with this. It's kind of like a Nicaraguan way of saying, can't get there from here. So the nurse I was traveling with went in, cleaned up the blood from the birth, checked in on the woman and her baby, and I stood kind of awkwardly around with the man, the husband, and the driver as they smoked cigarettes, and I kind of wondered if I should maybe test my wobbly Spanish on them. Buenos dias, I imagined saying. Mi nombre soy Clara. Hoy es jueves. Me gusta Nicaragua. As I rode down out of the mountains that day, I had no idea that this was the issue that would shape my service. I had no clue that the sort of vague concepts I have about improving maternal health were about to become something much, much bigger. Una casa materna, my counterpart told me, pounding her own pregnant belly. Imagínate, Clara, una casa materna. As it happens, Nicaragua has a network of casas maternas. These are maternity homes where pregnant women can come and receive free medical care, health education, food, and a place to sleep. It had been my counterpart's dream to build one for years, but she had never had the resources to do so. And in me, she saw an opportunity, a link to the resources that she'd always needed for this project. Great, I said. Let's do it. All we need is to build a house, equip it, staff it, find some way to fund the whole thing, all before I leave in 2 years. This is totally doable with my rudimentary Spanish, no money, and basically no experience. Yeah, this is definitely doable. I thought that I was going to be doing health classes, maybe doing some yoga with some pregnant ladies to mix it up a little bit. Breathe, Claire, my supervisor told me when I called Peace Corps in a panic. There's a workshop next month. I'm signing you up right now. Everything will be okay. You can do this. I can do this. A 3-day workshop is definitely going to make me an expert on project design and management. One step at a time, right? First, project proposal, minor detail. Then, looking for funding. Pro tip, this is about 1 million times easier not in your native language. It's like when your vocabulary and your grammar are whittled down to the level of a 5-year-old, your inhibitions also drop to about a kindergarten level. But perhaps that's not quite fair. The 5-year-olds all spoke much better Spanish than I did. Of course, there were roadblocks along the way. My counterpart was an amazing woman. Sometimes I think she kind of pulled everything together through sheer force of will alone. She was a doctor, the director of our local health center, and she would march into those meetings with the mayor or the Ministry of Health or with Peace Corps with her eyeshadow immaculately matched to her neon shirt and her ankles rock steady in 3-inch heels. When she was put out of commission, about 6 months into her own pregnancy, put into bed rest, I tried to channel that stubbornness, minus the 3-inch heels. It's harder than it looks. Ay, señorita, fíjate que... Pro tip, fíjate que has no direct translation into English, but anyone who's ever worked on a construction project knows exactly what it means. It means, well, we didn't really do what we said we were gonna do, but we're kind of sorry, and we'll definitely do it next week. Probably. Maybe. The best way to deal with fíjate que, I discovered, was this. What would La Doctora do? Ay, fíjate que there was a flat tire. Fíjate que it was raining. Fíjate que, Princesa Chelita, you are so beautiful. Do you have a boyfriend? La Doctora would say, fíjate que I will be back tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that, and every other day until this is ready. Until the Casa Materna has a roof, a water pump, and a refrigerator. Until it has 6 beds and dishes in the kitchen. I am proud to report that Operation Become La Doctora was a success. My crowning achievement was the day that I had photocopies made. Personal approval from the mayor, check. Brought my own paper to use in the machine, check. Signed, witnessed, made out in triplicate, check and double check. Almost 18 months to the day after that first ride through the mountains, our Casa Materna opened its doors. It was a day of celebration. It was a day of laughter and conversation. Conversation that finally felt natural, felt real. I moved on, of course. My service is over. But the Casa Materna is still there, still providing safe harbor to 10 women every month. 10 women seems like a drop in the bucket, doesn't it? All told, our project only cost about $5,500. Small beans here in DC. We talk about millions and billions without blinking an eye. But to tell you the truth, the real cost of that little house to the municipality that became my home, to me, is incalculably more. I had joined Peace Corps because I wanted to work abroad, and because 2008 was a really great year to be on the job market. But it was the best choice that I could have made, redneck Spanish and all. And pro tip, if anyone ever needs to kill an alacran, let me know. Me and my flip-flops, we've got you covered.